Senator Van Hollen Abrego Garcia case about more than one man. The dispute over the deportation and imprisonment of Kilmar. Abrego Garcia is not only about one man, but about Donald Trump's disregard of the American judicial system. As well, Senator S.Van Hollen said Friday, as he returned from a 3-day trip to El Salvador to press for the detained man's release. Speaking to reporters just after landing back in the United States, Van Hollen offered few answers about what will come next in Abrego Garcia's case. But the Maryland Democrats said that he and others will keep speaking out after the Trump administration defied court orders to facilitate his return to the United States and insisted that he would stay in El Salvador, even as officials acknowledged an error in deporting him. It's about protecting the constitutional rights of everybody who resides in the United States, Van Hollen said at Washington Dulles International Airport. At a news conference with Abrego Garcia's supporters behind him, it's very clear that the President Trump administration are flagrantly disagreeing with defying the order from the Supreme Court. Standing next to him, Abrego Garcia's wife, Jennifer, wiped away tears. As the senator shared her husband's comments about missing his family, much uncertainty remains about the future of Abrego Garcia, a Salvadoran citizen who was living in Maryland. After Van Hollen was presented with a carefully staged opportunity to meet with him in El Salvador on Thursday, the Maryland senator said that Abrego Garcia reported he'd been moved from a notorious Salvadoran mega prison, Seguro, to a detention center with better conditions. Abrego Garcia's status after Van Hollen left was not known, and there was no indication that Van Hollen's trip pushed him any closer to release. The case has become a focal point in the national immigration debate. Democrats insist that Trump is overstepping his executive authority and disrespecting the courts. Republicans are criticizing Democrats for defending a man Trump and White House officials claim is an MS-13 gang member. Van Hollen said that Abrego Garcia told him that he'd shared a cell with 25 prisoners and was afraid of many fellow inmates at Sicko before he was moved to another center in Santa Ana, El Salvador. He said that Abrego Garcia reported being treated well, but noted that they were surrounded by government minders at the time. The fight over Abrego Garcia is the latest partisan flashpoint, as Democrats struggle to break through and push back. During the opening few months of Trump's second administration, more Democratic lawmakers have said they will fly to El Salvador to push for Abrego Garcia's release. But the partisan pressure has yielded no results. Trump and El Salvador's president, Nayib Bukele, have only dug in on keeping him out of the United States. That stance remained even after the U.S. Supreme Court called on the administration to facilitate his return. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt has said that Abrego Garcia will never live in the United States of America again. Bucarelli posted images of Van Hollen's meeting with Abrego Garcia on Thursday and said that the prisoner gets the honor of staying in El Salvador's custody. Van Hollen said a Salvadorian government official placed other beverages on the table with salt or sugar on the rim to make it appear they were drinking margaritas. Van Hollen said neither he nor Abrego Garcia drank from the glasses, which in the photo bouquet posted were garnished with cherries. After days of denying that he knew much about Abrego Garcia, Trump on Friday said he knew Abrego Garcia's prison record was unbelievably bad and called him an illegal alien and a foreign terrorist. The president also responded Friday with a social media post saying, Van Hollen looked like a fool yesterday, standing in El Salvador begging for attention. Several House Republicans have visited the notorious gang prison. In support of the Trump administration's efforts, Representative Riley Moore, a West Virginia Republican, posted Tuesday evening that he visited the prison where Abrego Garcia is being held. I leave now even more determined to support President Trump's efforts to secure our homeland. Moore wrote on social media. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officials acknowledged in a court filing earlier this month that Abrego Garcia's deportation was an administrative error. The government's acknowledgement generated immediate uproar from immigration advocates. But White House officials have stuck with the allegation that he's a gang member. The fight has also played out in contentious court filings, with repeated refusals from the government to tell a judge what it plans to do, if anything, to repatriate him. The 3-judge panel from the 4th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals unanimously refused Thursday to suspend the judge's decision to order sworn testimony by Trump administration officials and said the judiciary will be hurt by the constant intimations of its illegitimacy, while the executive branch will lose much from a public perception of its lawlessness. Judge J. Harvey Wilkinson, III, nominated by President Ronald Reagan, a Republican, wrote that he and his 2 colleagues cling to the hope that it is not naive to believe our good brethren in the executive branch perceive the rule of law as vital to the American ethos. Since March, El Salvador has accepted from the United States more than 200 Venezuelan immigrants, whom Trump administration officials have accused accused of gang activity and violent crimes, Bukeles. Government has placed them inside the country's maximum security gang prison just outside San Salvador.